what everybody wants to know is what's going to happen in 2020, right? And what my feeling is, and I'm calling 2020 the year of the relationship, okay? You've got to get out and you've got to build your relationships. You have to build more of them and build the ones that you have deeper. And the reason for that, and I mentioned it a little bit on Friday, is the consumer, I believe, is getting internet fatigued, right? You go online and you can get all the information you want, but then they need somebody there to help them decipher all the information, for them to figure out what's the right thing to do. And it was interesting, I was speaking with somebody last week, and John, you probably know this, J.D. Power ranks Quicken Loans #1 in customer satisfaction, okay? The interesting thing is who do they interview for those customer satisfaction ratings? It's people that have closed with them.
Yeah.
And so the 47% of people who don't get approved by them or don't close with them don't get those satisfaction ratings. So that if the internet basically doesn't always tell the truth, right? And so that's one thing that you're going to have to do, I think, going forward in 2020, is develop a plan for communicating with your clients. And of course, I think the best way to do it is through video. You set up a video library and a YouTube account and have people go to your website and see it, or go to your YouTube site and see the information that helps them make the right decisions, whether they're buying or selling a house. So like right now, is now a good time to sell your house?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Inventory levels 27% below where it was last year. So right now we only have 2,800 houses for sale in all of Northern Virginia. I mean, if you're putting a house on the market, Mike Dodowick wrote a contract yesterday on a house, and there's 18 contracts on that house. So there's still multiple contracts today. Rum sold a couple over the weekend, so that was good news for us. But the other thing about not just relying on technology, okay, technology is your partner, but it's not your lead and it's not your end-all be-all, again, because I think the consumer has the internet fatigue going on. So writing personal notes, writing birthday cards to not only your clients, but to your clients' kids, and maybe include a gift card to a local restaurant, that you go and you interview the owner of that ice cream shop or the manager of that ice cream shop, so that you can get a discount on those cards. You know, start to think outside the box and how you can add a little bit of extra value to the relationships that you have. One thing that we've talked about forever, and I hope that you'll do it this year, is providing your clients with CMAs, right? Just do a quick checkup with them for their insurance purposes, right? See if it's maybe potentially time for them to refinance. You know, John, what's typically a good time for someone to refinance? When the rate's a quarter of a point less than what they currently have?
I'd say half.
Half.
Yeah.
Okay, so just, again, send them to CMA, ask them if they have adequate insurance, ask them again what their interest rate is, and then see if they need to potentially refinance. So if somebody bought a year ago.
And an easy thing to do right now, just what you're saying, a year ago, the interest rates were 1% higher than they are now.
Right.
Which is
So it is a value add to your clients to do that. Again, do the videos on the market update. You know, stay engaged with what's happening in the market. I do it every Friday. You know, if you guys want to do it once a month and just do a quick market update video, put it out on Facebook, again, so people can look to you as a valuable resource when it comes to real estate information. And again, set a standard for your calls, your notes, and your Popeyes. On Saturday, we had our Breakfast with Santa event, and we had 5 agents participate, right? That's extremely low, in my opinion. It is a free event for you guys. We cover all expenses except for your invitations to your clients. There should be no reason why you don't participate in the events that we put on, because it doesn't cost you anything, and it's a way for you to invite your clients, call them to see if they're coming, see them at the event, and then write a thank you note to them for coming. It's a great way. We have one Saturday, this Saturday coming up. So again, look to get involved in different client events. And I know Brian Felder's team does 4 to 6 a year, and he always gets a return on his client events. Send out sold cards so that your clients know that you're actually selling houses, right? They want to see results. So that's another way to do it. But just think of things along those lines. And then going out and building more relationships would be to join networking groups. So think about what networking groups you could join this year that would be beneficial to you and to your database. Avram, you have one that's just 4 or 5 people, right? That's a small group. It doesn't need to be 30 people like a BNI or like a Chamber of Commerce or something along those lines. And then think about joining like Rotary clubs. Paul, you have the BNI. Somebody else is in Rotary that, was that?
Dan Radke.
Dan Radke, yeah. And Dan Radke got us 100 books to donate to the kids who came to Breakfast with Santa. So, those kind of things are relationship building. Doing seminars, I think now would be a good time to do home buying and home selling seminars. Working a rental program, writing a blog, and boosting it out to audiences on Facebook. Start a community group on Facebook. It can be sports, parenting, schools, neighborhoods, food, anything like that to get people engaged in knowing the other side of you, not just business all the time. And then obviously having great relationships with your vendors to see what they're doing and see how you can help them and see how they can help you. And again, partnering to do the seminars is a good thing with them. So, and then what else are you going to do in that regard, right? So think of 2020 as the year of the relationship for you going forward. And then a couple of other things that I've been thinking about, and we talked a little bit about on Friday, is demographics, right? 65,000 people are turning 10,000 people are turning 65 years old every day. And those people are going to need to right-size their housing. A couple of you did the SRES class, which was great and had that designation. Take that designation and go to the local AARP and see if you can become a real estate specialist for AARP, right? I don't know if anybody else is doing it, but that would be something that you could consider going, and again, building that relationship to help people right-size their housing. And then there's 77 million baby boomers, and they control 70% of the disposable income in the U.S. And 76% of them own their own home, and 41% of those are mortgage-free. So they're a good demographic to go after when selling houses. At the last business planning we had Remind speak. They're going to be coming next Monday. So if you want to learn how to use Remind to mine their data to find people that are in this category, that could lead to listings next year, which is what we need. We need more listings. And Monica has 2 coming on. So congratulations, Monica. It's very exciting. But 15% of the baby boomers are looking to move in the near future. So that's 8.8 million sales, and then again, potential buyers, right? So a lot of business out there. There's next we have millennials. There's 80 million millennials. They outnumber baby boomers just this year, and 37% of them are aged 25 to 34, and they own homes. So the next thing is 22% of those live at home, which means there's 14 million opportunities to help somebody become a buyer or a renter. So think about who you know or who your clients have living at home with them that you can get into the millennial market. And a lot of them think that you need 20% down. And is that true, John?
No, it's not.
No, it is not. How much money do you need to buy a house today?
Depending on the loan, it could be 0 or 3%.
0 to 3%. So again, an education out to people like that, both the parents and their kids living at home, is something to think about doing. So again, technology is going to be playing a huge role in the real estate market. Everybody's trying to get a bite of the $86 million in real estate commissions that are generated every year. But the one thing, and I've been saying it for 12 years now, is video is ultra important. 85% of all internet users watch video. Anybody watch a video today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a majority of us, not quite 85% in the room, watched the video today. And then 54% of consumers want more video content. So there are 100 things that you guys can do video content on, and just talking about interest rates, talk about what happened at a closing, interview John about the mortgage market, interview Sarah about what she sees at the closing table and what trends she sees in the title business going forward. Easy content to have. Talk to Rum. Rum, you talk to Eddie, right? I mean, you can just interview each other, but information that you learn out there is easy to sit down and do a 2 to 3 minute video on, or a 5-minute interview process. 68% of video marketers get qualified leads through video. 87% of marketing companies use video as a marketing tool. So if these companies on Madison Avenue in New York are using video, don't you think you guys should be using video too? I mean, it makes absolute common sense. 1.5 million people search YouTube per month and play over 1 billion hours of video per day. Is video important? Who's going to do video or more video? There we go. Yes. So anyway, the other thing that I see coming down the pike is blockchain technology. That's the stuff that worked with crypto technology or cryptocurrencies. The back end, it is totally transparent. It's seamless. And I think, there's companies out there like ShelterZoom that are going to be providing real estate services where everyone is involved in the transaction through this platform. That'll make it easier for everybody to do business. And again, it's very secure versus, going out and sending out emails, right? You have to have encrypted emails that you send out now. So it'll get away from those types of things, and hopefully will reduce wire fraud and so forth. So we're keeping our eye on companies like that. And then, if you're using your email campaigns, you just have to stay in front of your people on multiple platforms, whether it's social media, phone, stopping by and seeing them, email campaigns. You got to get out and get in front of your people. And I think using email campaigns is going to be a way for you to do that going forward. And then, you need to embrace technology to help grow your business, but not rely on it 100% to grow your business, because it really has to be you. I'm afraid that we're going to continue to see lower commissions. We've seen some lower commissions already out there. A lot of it has to do with the iBuyers that are out there and their growing trend. Even though they're not in our area now, they may eventually get into our area. We have Redfin that's driving down commissions. I mean, it's a conversation that a lot of us are having with our clients over the commission rates, and can you do it for X percent versus Y percent, and why are you charging that? And again, if you're providing value and you're showing them that you're a trusted professional, you have to negotiate less in your commission. But we have Zillow, Opendoor, Redfin, now Knock, OfferPad. Opendoor is partnering with builders. They have relationships now with 19 of the top 25 builders in the country. They'll go and they'll buy the house and sell the consumer a house, eliminating the need for you, because the builder's going to make more money by not having to pay a realtor fee, and then their house is already sold. They can move when they want, the timing that they want, and for a price that they negotiate with them. So I think that's going to happen. There are companies like Rex Homes that are coming into the market where they're just working with sellers only and just charge a flat 2% fee to the seller. If the buyer wants to pay their agent, then that's on the buyer. So there's going to be other companies that will take off if this company takes off, because MLSs in the Northwest region of the states are starting to publish the buyer agency commissions. Redfin is publishing their buyer agent fees on their website. So as it becomes more transparent what agents earn when selling a house, I think that's going to unfortunately drive down commissions, because you're going to have to sit there and negotiate have you guys talked about developing any loans that would roll in commissions payable to an agent? If that comes down to, like it's a Rex home where they only pay 2%, and one of our clients likes it.
You know, Rex is different. Rex charges a $5,000 listing fee, and they give back a $2,500 rebate if the person buys a home with them, but they don't put the homes in the MLS.
Right, they don't put them in MLS.
Yeah, so they
Right.
charge $5,000 to sell it, and the worst part is they're using the MLS system to get buyers, but they're not participating in it.
Right,
That's like ridiculous.
so,
And we wouldn't be, until Fannie or Freddie gives some direction in HUD. Are you talking about on the buying side?
on the buying side,
Yeah, I mean, at close, you might be able to get that on a VA loan,
right,
but generally speaking, until Fannie or Freddie, no.
right. So, anyway, you also have, you know, the Redfin Now, where they can go in and they can make an offer by answering 52 questions. And that just expanded into LA, they were Boston and us, and now they're out in LA. So things like that are these technology companies are trying to eliminate realtors and realtor commissions and get a piece of that themselves through their technology. So think about how you can build relationships again with your client, because 78% of people work with the first agent that contacts them on the internet. So if you're not out there in front of your people, they're gonna go someplace else, and you're gonna be really bummed out. Because it happens. It happens to me, it's happened to Dave. And then, you know, you wanna go out and you wanna create the ultimate customer experience. So think about how you're going to service your people, what you're gonna do differently. One thing Terry Watson has, and we can get you this, is he has what happens next videos or questions, so that your clients know what's going to happen next and the do's and don'ts of real estate. And when you have those things and you're telling them ahead of time, it makes for a better experience than waiting and having them find out later that they could have or should have known something sooner. So getting it out and getting in front of them, so creating a great customer experience that you show that you're worth the money that you're charging. And then lastly, we have our political and economic landscape that's coming up. China and the trade talks are trying to get something resolved by December 15th. Both sides are working towards that. We'll see how that goes, but I think that will help the economy once all that gets resolved. You know, you gotta keep an eye on interest rates. Interest rates are going to do what?
They're gonna stay or maybe drop a little.
Stay or maybe drop, right? So there is a reason for you to reach out to potential buyers. Hey, interest rates are great, they're gonna be staying here. They might drop a little bit lower, but I don't know how much lower they can go, so if you're looking to buy, now's the right time to do it. Don't try and time the market. We have an election coming up. You know, who's gonna win, and how's that going to affect the real estate transaction going forward? As an example with the CFPB, and you know, Trump is hands off and do whatever you want. It's kind of the wild, wild west out there. If a Democrat wins, will they bring back a Cordray type person who's going to start fining people hundreds of millions of dollars like they did with, I guess it was Wells, got hit with a big one?
B of A.
B of A.
Back in the day, yeah.
Right, so, I mean, that could impact how the business is run going forward. And then, everybody's talking about a recession. I think we've talked about it a lot and how it's not gonna really affect us. But you have to be able to quell people's anxiety over the recessions and explain to them why we're not gonna be affected if it does in fact happen. Housing affordability, you know, we have millennial student loans. So there's a lot of things that you really need to keep an eye on. But the good news is unemployment is at a 50-year low. It's only 3.5% unemployment rate right now. So that's always going to be good for housing too, because people have jobs, they need a place to live, right? And houses are where the jobs go at night. So,
And jobs create confidence.
and jobs create confidence. Yep, consumer confidence, which is key. So those are some things to think about, and think about your business going forward and how you're going to address these types of things and what you need to read to stay educated on these things, so that you have a business plan that will not only carry you successfully into 2020, but beyond. Any comments from anybody on that? No? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started.